Sagar, what would you like to say? Now, somewhere there is a proposal which has been put before the Chief Minister as well with respect to each MLA should take care of 3 or 4 schools in their region so that it's better, so that they can improve and they can educate better. The education sector can improve as well. This is one of the proposals which was there. What would you like to say?
I mean, being a hot-blooded youngster, my hopes and aspirations are much higher, and everyone knows what ought to be done. There is a lot of research being done on it, okay, and everyone knows what ought to be done. The problem is, who's going to bell the cat? And it's no longer an elephant in the room. It's a dinosaur. It's a T-Rex. But we need political will, a leader who can take the risk to get the policies passed and implemented. Just passing the policies and getting the money sanctioned where all the money goes into the pockets of the contractors who supported the party is not enough. Take, say, example, education. Medical is considered to be pinnacle of Indian education. Oh my God, they pay crores to go there. Go to a medical college professor and ask, based on what educational philosophy are you teaching? Are you using behaviorism, cognitivism, perennialism, idealism? What are you using in the class to teach? You ask them. I'll be shocked if you get an answer out of it. And if a doctor does this to you when you take your children to the hospital saying that, I'll give you an injection, I don't know why, but I'm going to try it out, you'll send them to prison. But when a teacher or a professor or a principal does this to students, you know, when they attack their brain without research evidence, what's the punishment for them? Yeah, right, there is nothing to be measured out of. You can't measure it, that's why you get away with it. You know, everyone knows what ought to be done. We need political will to get these things passed. And I'll go on to other things as well. When Sir spoke about tax, okay, which is very important. All the time, accountability of tax paying is held on hard-working middle-class people. What about the big people? What about big business? You know, they call it too big to fail. I call it too big to jail. You know, there's a vast amount of research being done on it and sent on it, which is very interesting if you pay attention to that tax-paying burden always falls on the middle-class taxpayers. You know, the rich get away with passes. If you go to highway tolls, they always show one or the other card. And it's the person behind middle class who has to pay the money, which is quite shocking. And when it comes to farmers, it's very interesting. We talk about loan waiver. Oh, what about lakes being filled? You know, farmers need infrastructure, and India is not country of metropolitan cities. Karnataka is filled with villages, and we need infrastructure for farmers. If you want real employment, then farmers have to be, it ought to be a profitable affair. Nobody wants to be a farmer anymore. Unless farming is a profitable affair, nobody would go into it, and we have to start importing. Forget exporting. Okay, lakes have to be measured thoroughly. All the encroached aspects should be removed, and they have to fill the lakes and provide minimum funding for farmers, whatever they grow. You know, doubling of farmers.
Yesterday, High Court had pulled up PPMP also for the lakes.
Krishi Ayog has given, forget that. Doubling of farmers is thrown out of the budget. Prime Minister says 75,000 crores, whereas Ayog says 65. So they haven't even come up with a proper estimate for that yet. But it's very interesting when you noticed about the whole aura of what's going on. He came out with the green shawl. In research circles, we have a saying for this. We say, more you talk about something, the less you do about it. So they get away with the difficult thing with the title. So the pro-farmer budget, we have to look at it carefully, not get carried away by the headlines. What actually they have allotted? Are they going to give infrastructure to farmers? Those are the things we have to pay attention to.